The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Good morning, Hoop Ballers, and welcome to another edition of Hoop Balls DFS Today. This is your April 6th Tuesday edition. I am your host, Santino and I will be joined with my good buddy, the Tuesday twosome over here, and Will Harris. How you doing today, Will?
What's going on, Santino? Good to be with you again and knock out an 8-game slate tonight.
Yeah, we got a nice 8-gamer. That's in the wheelhouse that I like, the 7 to 10-ish type of games, or 6 to 9, I would say. But this is a good wheelhouse. We got 8-gamer, 2 teams on the back end of a back-to-back. Some pretty big, interesting news to keep an eye on out for the injury report. So we'll see what happens there. But before we get into it, is there anything you want to say? Anything that you're watching over tonight?
No, yeah. You want to mention the injury now, or hold on to it?
With the James Harden going out is a big one, but they're not playing in this slate, so not huge, but yeah, definitely want to keep an eye out for James Harden. Made his return on Monday, played 4 minutes, left, same tightness in his hamstring, so that doesn't seem well. So we'll see how that shakes out in the coming days when he gets more MRIs and more looks at it, but not good initially.
Right. So hopefully we have a safe. Everyone stays healthy and safe for these next 2 days. So we have a good slate for this 8-gamer tonight. And obviously you have to stay tuned to the Discord with Hoop Ball and check your lineups and late breaking news before tip off. And we'll get into it.
Right. Yep. And with that, exactly, we'll get right into it. We'll just jump right into this slate. The first game that we have here is the only game at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the Chicago Bulls at the Indiana Pacers. And we don't have a spread for this one, but we do have an injury report for both teams. On the Bulls side, we have Devin Dotson, Adam Okoro, Garrett Temple, Daniel Tice, all out. Kobe White is probable. On the Pacers side, we have some big ones. TJ Warren is out for the year. Probably don't have to mention him after this, but Sabonis, Jeremy Lamb, and Brogdon are all questionable. Brogdon practiced on Monday. Sabonis did not. Jeremy Lamb, I think, was very limited, if not didn't practice. I would say Sabonis is looking at closer to out. Brogdon closer to playing, but we will figure that one out when we get there. But the Pacers are on the front end of a back-to-back, so that probably factors into whether Sabonis plays or not. But yeah, let's jump into it, man. The first game of the docket. How you feeling about this Chicago Bulls squad?
Not great. No, but they're okay. It hurts that Kobe White is probable because otherwise I would feel good about playing Satoransky at 5,100. But if Kobe White is playing, that will just make me. You still can use him. I would just be less confident in it. And other than that, I'm looking at Thaddeus Young at 6,000. He's been playing very productive all season, really. So you could throw him in your lineup at 6,000. That wouldn't kill you. Zach Levine at 7,800. He's not playing at all-star level like he was earlier in the season. His last 6 games or so have been very subpar for him. So with the 8-game slate, you don't have to force him in your lineup. He's just, I don't know if he's taking a back seat to Vucevic right now. I know he was banged up a little bit. So maybe he's just trying to get back fully healthy. But Vucevic at 8,700, I think, is a steal. This is a guy that was in the 9,000s, mid 9,000s earlier in the season. And I believe he hit the 10,000 mark a couple of times, and he was well worth it in Orlando. He's starting off a little bit slower in Chicago, but he's starting to ramp up now. So at 8,700, he's one of my favorite plays for tonight if you don't want to spend big on Jokic. You got anybody else on the Bulls?
Yeah, for me, the 3 guys I'm looking at, drop my headphones. got excited there. The three guys that I'm I'm looking at mainly here are all in that 6K or right next to each other. And Thad Young at 6K, Satoransky at 5-1, and Lauri Markkanen at 4-5. Without Daniel Tice for this game, that opens minutes in the 20s at that power forward position on backup center, which Thad Young has been playing. Thad Young's going to be playing a little bit more center probably. And then that means Lauri Markkanen is going to see a little bit more floor time. And him being at 4-5, I mean, you don't need a monster game from him to bring back value, so that's where I like that there. I saw the last game when he played 34 minutes when Levine and other people were out and he started. He had a pretty solid return at 16 points, 10 boards. So I think that we can see that 23 minutes climb to about 28, 29, maybe even more and look for a solid return there. Satoransky, you mentioned Kobe White takes a little bit of luster out of him now that he's going to be playing, but he does coming off that career game and the way that they won. It just makes me think. I mean, he's much better on the floor than Kobe White is, especially on this team. So I think he's going to play. And even with White in the lineup, 5,100, he's been bringing back value. Not great upside, but he's hitting value the last 4 games. So I like him there. And Thad Young, for the reasons we mentioned, he's going to be playing a lot more. He's still starting now with Daniel Tice out. He's going to get more minutes at both power forward and center. So those are the guys that I'm leaning towards mostly in this matchup, more mid-tier guys. But
yeah,
how you feel?
If DraftKings would have knew beforehand that Tice was out, I'm sure Thaddeus Young's price would be a little higher. So you can take advantage of that.
Exactly. And how about this Pacer side? I mean, 2 of their big guys are questionable, and it's hard to look at the moment. But where are you looking at here with what we know?
It is very hard to look at, but if Sabonis plays, I'm confident in him at 8,800 because all season long he's been pretty much worth a lot more than that. But they're probably risking factoring in the fact that he's probable or questionable, and same for Malcolm Brogdon. I don't feel confident playing Brogdon because I think they will probably take it easy on him, being that it's his hip and they don't want to re-aggravate anything like Harden did on Monday. So it's really questionable for the whole Pacers team for me. If Sabonis is out, I would look at Miles Turner at 6,200. But other than that, I'm not confident in anyone else because everyone is kind of average for the most part as far as fantasy or overpriced for their production right now. You disagree?
I think there's some guys that I might look at. You mentioned Turner. I like Turner at this. I don't think that Sabonis is going to play. He didn't practice on Monday. It is the front end of a back-to-back. I feel like they'll err on the side of caution with that news. So I like Turner at 6,200 in this matchup. Brogdon probably will play since he practiced on Monday. So I don't know. I wanted to go back to him or LeVert, but I'll probably have small shares of them, but not too much. I think McConnell at 5,300 makes sense. He should play more, though I would probably just take Satoransky on the other side of the ball for $200 less. Outside of that, if you do want to dig at some people in the 4K range, you can look at Justin Holliday, Doug McDermott, 4-5, 4-1. Probably won't have too much exposure to them, but one of those guys is definitely going to start with Sabonis likely to miss this game, and maybe both of them start. So they're just throwing out more options for people around that price tag. But I think Turner is the one guy that I can reliably slot into my lineups in this one.
Yeah, I agree. Last game, Aaron Holiday had a big game, but I mean that's once in a blue moon type of thing for him. So I don't think that will be a trend. So that's about it.
Right, man. And let's jump on over to this next game. This starts at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We have the New Orleans Pelicans at the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks are on the front end of a back-to-back, and so are the Pelicans. So both teams we have here are on the front end of a back-to-back. We do not have a spread for this one, and on the injury report, we have a doozy for both teams. I'll start with the Pelicans. We have Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Josh Hart, both out. Kyra Lewis as doubtful, Zion and Brandon Ingram as questionable. A lot of big talent over there. On the Hawks side, we have John Collins, Chris Dunn, DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish all out. Clint Capella as probable. We'll start with this Pelican squad. I mean, we got Lonzo back. He's not on the injury report, so that's a plus. But we know Hart's going to be out for probably the rest of the season. Naw's going to be out for a good chunk of time, high ankle sprain. Ingram, Zion are questionable. Lewis doubtful. That's a lot of firepower, but we'll start here. Who are you looking at here? And if Zion or Ingram or both play, do you have any interest in them?
I try to shy away from guys that are injured and then it's their first game back because you just never know how that injury is going to flare up or how the team's going to give them minutes. So if you hear anything like they're not going to be limited and they play full complement of minutes, yes. But other than that, I normally try to give them a game or two so they get back into form. Also, Steven Adams, recently got a concussion. So I think that would be, unfortunately, that's great news for Jackson Hayes at 4,100 and Willie Hernan-Gomez at 4,200. So you can dig in the crates at a very cheap price for those guys, and they can get you some big production. Willie Hernan-Gomez's last game, he had 15 points and 12 rebounds. So, I mean, and that was in 26 minutes. So he should get that same amount of minutes again. So that's great production at that cheap of a price. You can even look at the rookie Najee Marshall at 3,800. His last two games have been productive. With Ingram, that's only with Ingram and Zion out, in my opinion, because I think that's why he's getting so many more minutes, and Josh Hart. But if Zion and Ingram are back, I would be a little more scared to play him. But that's a young guy that's coming out of nowhere. And if the Pelicans are not going anywhere, it's more reason to give him more minutes. And at 3,800, that's worth the risk. And James Johnson also, he recently got traded to the Pelicans from the Mavs. He wasn't doing much on the Mavs at all. But the last 3 games, he's been very productive, scoring 18, 16, and 17 actual NBA points. Just putting up all-around stats for them. And his price jumped almost $1,000. He's been playing so well. So he's now at 5,200. Do you think that's too high for him, or do you think that's still worth it to put him in your lineup if everyone's out?
If everyone's out, we can still. I think that's a pretty solid price tag still, just because he does so much dirty work that he can still bring back value there. I don't know if the upside is crazy high, but he should still bring back value, assuming Ingram and Zion are out. Steven Adams, they put him in the concussion protocol, but he's not on the official injury report, which is super weird. That's definitely something to keep an eye out for, because if he's out, and then you have, then depending on what Ingram and Zion are doing, like you mentioned, Hernan Gomez, Jackson Hayes become very solid plays at 42 and 4,100. One of them is going to start, the other is going to get a solid chunk of minutes. But as of now, on the official injury report, they do not have Steven Adams on it. But it seems weird. Maybe it was
that is very weird.
Right? They put him in the concussion protocol after on Sunday, and now he's off. So definitely keep an eye out on that. I do like Lonzo. Whether Ingram and Zion play or not, I'm hoping that at least one of them misses, because that gives a solid boost for Lonzo, who's 7,500. But if both of them miss in this matchup against Trae Young and as the number one option clearly on this team, damn, you saw what he just did in the last one. A monster. He took 18 shots, 27 and 9 in his first game back in a couple weeks. Sign me up for Lonzo if these two are missing. And if at least one of them misses, I'll have a very fair share of him as well. Outside of that, I am surprised that Isaiah Thomas is 5,100 in his first game in forever. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wanted to come in here and say, I might just throw a flyer on Isaiah now that there's no Lewis, no Naw. We might not have Zion and Ingram. And then I see 5,100 in his first game in who knows how long. I can't even remember, but that's just really weird to me.
I know everybody's going to see that name and be excited. So.
Exactly. Oh, he's playing. But really, 50. You couldn't put him at like 3,400 or something? Then I would have taken a couple shots at him, but not at that price tag.
And Eric Bledsoe's been playing a lot better also, but his ceiling is not too high, so he'll probably just get you 30 to 35 DraftKings points. So if you want to play it safe and that's what you need, you can play him at 6,100, but he's not going to get much more than that for the most part.
All right, man. How about on this Hawks side? We know DeAndre Hunter just had a minor procedure, as they said, and he'll be out. Collins is out. Reddish is not coming back. But where are you looking at over here? And again, this is going to be a super fast-paced matchup, and I like it.
Right. Obviously, you have, the superstar Trae Young at 9,100. His last game was pretty terrible for him. Only scored 13 actual NBA points. That's rare for him. So I'm sure he'll bounce back and have a big game. I don't mind picking players who had a bad game that we know are great because it's rare they're going to have two bad games in a row. Bogdanovich at 6,200. He's been playing pretty well lately. His last game also not that great, only 25 DraftKings points. But before that, 3 games before that, he was averaging almost 50 DraftKings points. So obviously he's worth the consideration at 6,200. You got to look at Gallinari because John Collins is out. While John Collins is out, I feel it's always safe to play him because when he's in, it's like Gallo takes a back seat. But when Collins is out, he has to do more. And he can get you close to 40 DraftKings points. At 5,700, that's always worth it. And then you also have the newcomer, Lou Williams. You can consider him because he's at 5,300. It's not a safe play at all, but he's been playing pretty well for the Hawks. It's just a guy you can look at. I don't know if I would feel too comfortable putting him in the lineup unless you're trying to be contrarian because he's going to get the minutes. So that's all I got for the Hawks.
Yeah, and for me, I think this is a game that you can potentially game stack depending on Zion's and Ingram's availability, where if they're playing, I like them. If they're not, there's not much. I mean, then you can go digging in the bargain bin over there. But on this side of the ball, they're going to be in a great matchup regardless of who's in and who's out. If they're all out, then it's just can this game stay competitive long enough to where these big guys play enough minutes? But Trae Young is going to be in a great spot. You mentioned that. Great spot to bounce back here. He only took 11 shots in the last one. I expect that to climb, and in a fast-paced matchup, expect him to do really good, and I really like him here. Clint Capella, if Steven Adams misses, it's just going to be him cleaning up the glass, and even if Steven Adams plays, he's still going to be on a huge advantage there. I like him at 86. The price tag's getting a little pricey, and I'd rather just play Trae Young for 500 more, but I don't mind going to Capella there. Bogdanovich, bounce back, should be in here. I mean, the matchup is just screaming it, and only 6,200. He's been playing great outside that last game, and you mentioned Gallinari. He's going to get a boatload of minutes here too, and especially if he doesn't have to deal with Zion on the other end for a lot of it and get bullied. 5,700 is a really good price tag, so I like those four top guys here. Probably won't dig too much into the rest of the lineup, but those guys are going to get a lot of usage, assuming this game can stay close and the Pelicans have their guys. But this is a game that I think super high paced. The total is going to be pretty high, and we'll just see what happens on the injury report.
And yeah, I mean, normally I would be loving that price for Capella, but like I said, him coming off that probable questionable, hip injury type of thing, I just tend to stay away. But if he's going to play the full complement of minutes, I think you can put him in your lineup. You just got to hear more on that injury, in my opinion.
Right. Then we have the third game of the night. This is the Sixers at the Boston Celtics. I believe, yes, we do have a spread for this one. It is Sixers are 1.5 point road favorites, and the over/under is 223. On the injury report, we have Tristan Thompson for the Celtics is out, and the Sixers have George Hill out and Tyrese Maxey as probable. The Celtics are on the front end of a back-to-back. And I'll throw it over to you, my man. How you feeling about this Sixer squad? It seems it should be Joel Embiid is back in on this one. He missed the last one as it was the back end of a back-to-back, but I expect him to play here and him to do his usual stuff. But how you feeling about the Sixers?
Right, yeah, his first game back in almost a month off. With that injury, he had 41 DraftKings points, 24 points, 8 boards, 3 blocks. That's incredible for a first game back. So I think this game against Boston is only going to be improved because Robert Williams. We love his talent, we love his fantasy assets, but he's no match for Embiid. Embiid is too seasoned, too good, possible MVP candidate. So him at 10,200. It's a little risky because it's the second game back, but I just believe in Embiid, and I think he's worth it. If you can fit him in your lineup, you don't have to because it's 8 games, but he's gonna be, he's gonna be out there to put 24 points up in your first game back. He's a safe bet in my opinion, and that's it. That's the list. I don't trust anyone else on this team. Who you got? What do you think for Philly?
I like that. Yeah, I'm probably I don't know if I want to play anybody. I don't mind if you went to Embiid. I don't hate it, but I'd probably pay a little bit more for. I do like some of the other options up there. I'm just not sure if he's going to play 35 minutes, but for if he does play that minutes, all the reasons you mentioned, he can easily eat in this matchup. And he looked great in that first game back. I just not sure if they'll just push him. So that's my only concern with paying that top dollar. And then everybody else, Simmons, Harris. Now that Embiid's here and now that Embiid eats first, don't really want to pay those price tags for them. Harris is in a solid matchup and he's still going to get his shot attempts, but the ceiling is just lower for both of those two guys. Same with Green and Curry. We know Howard's going to be relegated. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm almost with you, but I'm probably just going to leave them alone and then jump on over to this Boston side. I'll dive in first. I'll do this one now that I feel like I just transitioned myself into this, so I'll just run with it. And on the other side, I mean, I don't know how much exposure I'll have here either. Not that I don't like these guys, but the Sixers are one of the best defensive teams in the league. They slow down the pace, play slow pace, tough defense. I'm probably not going to have any Sixers, so I don't want to have too much Boston exposure. It's just a game that I'm not too keen on. That said, I don't mind looking at a guy like Kemba Walker at 6'6". I think that Brown is going to probably get more Ben Simmons than Kemba, and that's where I'll lean there. I think Tatum's in for a solid score too. He does good when he plays the Sixers, but 9K I do like other options there. Same with Jaylen Brown. Probably just go Kemba Walker and a little bit of Marcus Smart at 5'6". I think that's still a good price tag. And then probably leave everybody else.
Whoa, you're not gonna play the Time Lord?
No, I don't really want to. Not that I think that he can't bring back value, but I think I like other people around his price tag a little bit more that aren't going against Joel Embiid.
True, yeah. I mean, Embiid is a beast, but you did see he got dunked on by Karl Anthony Towns. That was pretty bad.
That was a really good dunk.
Yeah,
Rob Williams doesn't have that offensive skill set though.
No, not at all. Yeah, Embiid's gonna probably be quiet for about a month after that one. But yeah, Tatum, he had been putting up value, but at 9,000, his production's kind of been dropping off for me. I need more for someone paying 9,000 that when you can get Jaylen Brown for similar production at 7,600, even though his production has dropped down a tiny bit also. So yeah, I do still like Robert Williams. I think he is the only effective center they have right now. So he's at 6,800. He's going to get the minutes. He may have a tough matchup, but I think he'll be worth that. And Kemba at 6,600. He should get you around 30 to 40 DraftKings points. And that's rare for a starting point guard, in the 6,000 like that can put up that type of value. He's not going to do it every game, but you just have to trust that whether he can or not. Hopefully Ben Simmons is not guarding him because that would hurt. But yeah, it's sketchy, but I do like Robert Williams. And their new acquisition, Evan Fournier, his last game was really well. Last two games were good. He had 23 points in the second to last one and 17 actual points in the last one. But that's just not putting up great DraftKings value, because he doesn't do much else. So that's 28 and 33 DraftKings points. You could play him, but the Celtics have so many good players. I think they all take a back seat to where you would just rather look at someone else.
All right, I like it. Now we'll jump on over to the last game at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the Los Angeles Lakers at the Toronto Raptors. We do not have a spread on this one. We do have an injury report, and we do have one of two teams on the back end of a back-to-back, and that is the Raptors. On the injury report, we have the Lakers have Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Jared Dudley all out, Wesley Matthews, Andre Drummond as questionable, and the Raptors, they don't have an injury report. As I mentioned, they are on the second night of a back-to-back, but we do know Kyle Lowry is out. Paul Watson, Patrick McCaw probably not going to play. I don't think Rodney Hood should play in this one. He didn't play because of his hip in the last one. Fred VanVleet missed the last game on Monday. But he was day-to-day, so there's potential for him to play. And Gary Trent Jr. limped off the court on Monday as well. So they don't have an injury report officially, but there are some moving parts there that we'll definitely have to keep an eye on. But we'll start with the Lakers squad. And how you feeling about this Lakers team, man, going against this Raptors squad?
No. You're not going to start with me on your team, the Lakers. You
All
go
right.
ahead. I know you want to.
All right, I'll jump with them. The first person I'm looking at here is, if he plays, I know he's questionable, Andre Drummond. This is just anytime you're going against the Raptors. You're
going to go back to that well?
If he plays, 6,500, great, fantastic price tag. He should play a lot of minutes if he plays, and the Raptors have no interior presence. Chris Boucher is too skinny, too small. Pascal Siakam's not a center, and Aaron Baines is showing every bit of his age right now. So if Drummond does play, he should start, and at 6,500, that's a fantastic price tag. A healthy Drummond is more like 8K or a little bit more than that. So I'll definitely go to him if he's there. If he doesn't play, changes things up a bit. As bad as he's played lately, I mean, Marc Gasol going back to Toronto at only 3,900 should definitely hit value there if there's no Drummond. Trez at 61 makes sense. I like the front court if you guys get the theme there. And then the back court. Fred VanVleet might not play. I don't mind looking at Schroeder, but I'll probably have more Kyle Kuzma for that same price tag. But I do think there are quite a few people that we can look at depending on if Drummond plays. If Drummond does play, won't be looking at Marc Gasol, and I'll play him over Trez. But I still like Kuzma a little bit, and Schroeder I would like a little bit more than Kuzma.
Oh, okay. Well, I have the opposite effect for you. The only person I'm really looking at is THT, Taylor Horton-Tucker, at 4,400, just because he's so cheap and he's going to get the minutes and the option to be productive. Everyone else is kind of sketchy to me. Schroeder at 6,900. You see the name and you say, yeah, but his last few games have not been that great DraftKings-wise. His last game, but his game before that was 41. If you can get around 40, you're just cool with that. But I just don't know. At 6,900, there's too many other guys like Kemba or anyone else that is more, trustworthy tonight for me. Kuzma, not trustworthy also at 6,800. Same thing for Drummond. I would have won a lot of money in my last lineup when I picked Drummond. And he got 8 DraftKings points because he got hurt with his toe. And this is his first game back. I think they're going to baby him, honestly. It would be a great matchup if he was healthy 100%. They're going to play – well, that's what they said last time. He's going to start and play big minutes. But I just don't trust it right now. You can trust Santino because that's his team. But I wouldn't trust Drummond in this one. Even though it's a great matchup, great price, the Lakers are just not looking great to me so far.
All right, man. And then we'll jump on over to the Raptors side.
I didn't mean to crush your spirits like that,
I mean, we can have differing opinions. It's fine. I think Drummond at 65, if he plays, is a really good price tag. Assuming he should start, and if there's no minutes limit, 65 is way too cheap for me. So I'll be there. But on the Raptors side of the ball, there's news we got to keep an eye out for. We don't know if Gary Trent's going to be playing in this one. Not sure if Van Vliet's going to be playing this one. But no, Kyle Lowry's not going to be playing in this one. That's potentially 3 of their starters. So definitely keep an eye out for this. And this game starts at 7:30. So hopefully we'll have news before the initial 7 o'clock lock. But don't mind looking at like OG Anunoby at 7K. That's a little pricey. But if everybody else is out, he's going to be getting a lot of he's going to have to get a lot more shot attempts, do a lot more work here. And this is a good matchup for him. If Van Vliet doesn't play, Flynn, we just saw him in the he didn't say Malachi Flynn didn't start in the last game, but he still played over 30 minutes, and he had himself a very good game. And at 3,900, he is my favorite guy under 4K. Favorite value of the night is if Fred VanVleet doesn't play, and it's probably going to be chalky, but I'm definitely going to play him. There's very good matchup. And then we'll have to see how this lineup shakes out. We might have DeAndre Bembry starting again at bare minimum 3K. He started in the last one, but now there might not be Trent. There might not be Van Vliet. Going to go to him too at bare minimum 3K. I do like a lot of these guys on this side of the ball, but I just want to see if Van Vliet plays and Gary Trent is good to go. It kind of takes the luster out of a Bembry, but I still will play Flynn here. But I just want to wait and see exactly who's in and who's out.
Well, I think you're underselling Malachi Flynn. If Fred VanVleet is out, I know you said it might be chalky, but I don't think the casual fan has ever heard of Malachi Flynn, would not know who that is, would never put him in the lineup because they never heard of him. So, if you have never heard of this guy, it's a guy that you need to consider at 3,900 with Fred VanVleet out, which we expect him to be, but obviously wait and see before tip-off. And Gary Trent, I believe he is healthy. He played tonight and scored 16 points. I think he hit the game winner against the Wizards, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I think he should be fine, as far as I know, if he stayed in the game and hit the game winner. So with 16 points. And OG, love him at 7,000, Siakam at 8,200. All great value, especially with Kyle Lowry is obviously out and Fred VanVleet. That's like 50 points gone right there. So Siakam, OG, Trent, and even Malachi Flynn will have to produce those points to make up for those points. We obviously wish we could play Chris Boucher, but the coach hates him. So there you go.
All right, man. And we'll jump on over to the only game at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the Grizzlies at the Heat. We do have a spread for this one. It is the Heat, our 5-point home favorites, and we have a low 217.5 game total. On the injury report, we have the Grizzlies with Jaren Jackson, DeAnthony Melton, Justice Winslow all out, Brandon Clark as questionable. On the Heat side, we have KZ Akbala out and Gabe Vincent as questionable. I'll throw it over to you. How you feeling about this Memphis squad? And we know that without Melton and Winslow, it like knocks a little bit of the minutes around, and I would assume Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane chop up all the wing minutes.
Yeah, you explained that perfectly, chopping up the wing minutes, and I don't want any parts of it. I would go with Jonas Valanciunas at 7,400. He has the potential to get you 50 DraftKings points. His last two games were in the 30s, but he always has that. He's a lot bigger than Bam. I don't see anyone, stopping him from getting boards and putbacks against the Heat, even though the Heat are a tough defensive team. But anytime you can get a center that's that productive at 7,400, it's worth the risk. And a lot of people probably won't have him in their lineup either. And then obviously you always got to look at Jamal Morant, even though his production sometimes is in the 30s and 20s. He can always explode for those 50-point games also. So at 7,200, it's pretty safe play. Their point guards can't stop him on Miami. You only would have to worry if Oladipo is going to play a full complement of minutes and maybe they'll throw Jimmy Butler on him. But I don't think Oladipo is right now. So I think you could throw him in there. Neither one are like a guaranteed lock and loaded, put him in a lineup. But I think you can use either of those two. But I wouldn't touch anyone else on this team. Would you?
Yeah, and I actually like the wings with no Justice Winslow, no DeAnthony Melton. That's minutes going straight to the three guys I mentioned: Dylan Brooks, Grayson Allen, Desmond Bane. And if Brandon Clark misses, that's more minutes for Xavier Tillman and Kyle Anderson. And those are the people that I like the most: is Kyle Anderson, Dylan Brooks, Grayson Allen, Desmond Bane. Not so much Tillman, but Anderson I would like a little bit more if Clark misses. But right now, Brooks is going to be playing. Grayson Allen's going to be most likely starting and playing. Desmond Bane is my third favorite of the three. Going to get extra minutes, but I can see all three of them bringing back value. Brooks and Grayson Allen, easy value. Desmond Bane, some solid value there. But those guys I like at their price tags, and knowing that Melton and Winslow, even if when they don't play 20 minutes, even if they play 17 each, that's still 34 minutes that goes around to those three guys specifically. You can sign me up for those fair value price tags there. And that's probably where I'll be looking at mostly on this game. Just it's not the fastest tempo of a game. I don't mind Ja, but I probably won't go to him at that price tag. I like his wing teammates at a cheaper price.
Are you not going to factor in that Jimmy Butler and Oladipo would probably be guarding any of these guys, or you're not worried about that?
I would say Jimmy Butler is going to start at point guard and guard Ja, and Oladipo's not He's lost a step. Not that he's done, but you can still score on Oladipo. It's been happening all year on him.
Sure. Good point.
But on the Heat side, where are you looking at over here?
For Miami, obviously you have Jimmy Butler at 9,000. He's been a fantasy monster this year. He's at the same price as Jason Tatum, and I would obviously trust him more than Jason Tatum with the way his production has been lately. And he doesn't have so many other guys that are going to be stealing his value. He has a great team, but he's clearly the main guy. Him and Bam. Bam doesn't need plays ran for him that often or anything like that. Bam at 8,300 is still worth it to me. Obviously, he's a double guy any given night. Everyone else, like we said, with the addition of Oladipo, it kind of makes things crazy for Tyler Hero, Dragic, Nunn, everyone. But I think Duncan Robinson is still usable at 4,700. He's still been productive this whole time, and they're going to need his three-point shooting. So he's going to be on the court, even if Hero's not, or Nunn is not, or Dragic, they're worrying about his minutes. Duncan Robinson should still be out there. So Butler, Bam, and Duncan are the three that I'm looking at on this Heat team. You trust anyone else?
Yeah, I think Butler's in a solid spot here, so I will have some shares of him. I do like him at that price tag. And he started at point guard in the last one. I would assume he does it again. So I like that there. I do like me some Duncan Robinson. I probably won't be overexposed there, but at 47, I'll see him in some of my lineups. And then Ariza and Belly over there. More Belly. The last one, he ramped it up. I was expecting him to get more minutes. He went up to 17 and then 24 in his last two after barely playing when he came over. I could see him settling into that around 20-minute role or so. Matchup like this isn't that bad for him, but at 3,200, I mean, you're getting a guy at bare minimum price tag who can hit shots when he's hot, so I don't mind taking shots there. And Ariza's been playing. He hasn't been hitting his shot, but he's playing consistently a lot of minutes. So at 4,100, I don't mind taking shots there. Probably won't have many, but he's just another option. Not my favorite of the guys that I mentioned around 4K, but he's just another option there to differ from the field.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, man. We'll jump on over to the next game of the night. First one at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is the Pistons, who are the second and last team on the back end of a back-to-back, and the Denver Nuggets, who are on the front end of a back-to-back here. But we do not have a spread for them, and we do have an injury report on the Nuggets side. PJ Dozier and Greg Whittington are both available for this game. On the Pistons, we'll have to keep an eye out for what happens on their injury report. Mason Plumlee, Wayne Ellington both missed the last one for rest. Okafor, Magruder did not play in the last one. Dennis Smith Jr. was a coach's decision he didn't see the floor. And then we'll see if other people like Diallo has been resting on back-to-backs. Josh Jackson's a candidate to do so. I mean, the Pistons are the Pistons, and they're going to do what they want. Maybe Killian Hayes, who just came back from a extended layoff, doesn't play on the back end of a back-to-back. A lot of things to factor in here, but I'll throw it over to you, man. How are you feeling about this Pistons squad since they are the away team? And
right. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and the Nuggets are on the front end of a back-to-back. I forgot to also mention that the Grizzlies are on the front end of a back-to-back.
Yeah, well, when you think about the Pistons this year, you think of, let me not say his brother, Jeremy Grant. You know, he was playing at almost all-star level at the beginning of the season. He's been slumping off a little bit lately, but, you know, he's still the focal point of that offense. And with him playing against his old team, the Nuggets, I think this will awaken him for this game, and he'll return to form where he was balling out early in the season. And at 6,900, that's worth it. If he could have been easily priced 2,000 more than this. So his price value has gone down because his production has dropped a little bit, but he's still the man in this offense. So I think he's worth it. And then the only other guy I'm looking at is Corey Joseph at 3,500. He's with Killian Hayes. We'll have to see how his minutes are. But Corey Joseph has been playing pretty great for these guys, except for on the April 3rd, his production slumped off, but he still played 17 minutes in that game. I hadn't checked the stats to see how much. I think they're playing right now. how many minutes he's going to play tonight. So you can keep an eye on that to give you a guideline to go by if you want to trust him. But 3,500 is pretty great for a backup point guard, especially if Dennis Smith Jr. is not playing. You trust anyone else on this team?
I'm not sure who I trust at the moment because I know the injury report is going to throw me curveball tomorrow. But both Jeremy and Mason, they're both in a revenge. They're returning to the Nuggets. They were both on that team that made it to the conference finals. So I don't, not that I want them, but I don't mind taking those shots at them just to see, especially Grant. Hey, you guys wanted me back, but I wasn't a focal point, and now I am. I'll show you why. At 69, I'll take a shot or two at him. If Diallo misses, then a Josh Jackson becomes more appealing to me, and vice versa. If Jackson misses and Diallo plays, he becomes more appealing to me. And if both of them miss, then Sadiq Bey at 4,300 becomes more appealing to me. But I know this team does. People just miss random games, especially on back-to-back, so that's something to keep an eye out for. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Killian Hayes. I think he'll probably miss, but at 3K, if he plays, he had himself a good game on Monday. I think he'll have himself a solid game again. And that's literally the lowest price you can get at 3K. It hasn't moved, so I'll go back there if he does play. If he doesn't, I would expect Dennis Smith Jr. to re-enter the rotation. And at 3,800 and Corey Joseph at 3,500, take my shots at those two. You can take a shot at Saban Lee also, but I'm not going to go there. I want to see where the injury report is to where I can go to because all of these guys, you're looking at Diallo as the third highest priced guy on the team, and he's 5,300. Everybody is in play here, and so much value on this team. It's just going to be who's in and who's out. If they're all in, then I'll say Killian Hayes I like at 3K, Diallo at 5.3, and I'll take my shots at Grant. But I already know while I'm saying this, there's going to be a lot of these guys that are not in.
Yeah, it's kind of too many cooks in the kitchen for me. Like, you have 4 point guards that can get minutes, so it's kind of crazy. And also, Wayne Ellington probably is going to play this game at 3,400. He could easily get in there and hit 3 or 4 plus 3-pointers and go off. So, I mean, that's just another name to look out for. But, yeah, this matchup, you're going to check the injury report. So check us out on the Discord with HoopBall, and we'll keep you up to date on that and see who you can put in your lineup before tip-off.
Like Will said, man. And how about on the Nuggets side, buddy? Who do you like over here?
Okay, for the Nuggets, obviously you have Jokic at 10,500. His production, his last few games, was not the Jokic we've been expecting as far as DraftKings-wise. He's still an MVP candidate, in my opinion. I would like to see his price come down maybe to 10,000, but that's not going to happen because he's been playing so great all year. He's always worth it, though. You're just nitpicking, kind of. And Jamal Murray at 8,000. You just don't know about Jamal Murray. I think there's better options out there. He obviously can go off for 50. He's kind of like Ja Morant, but priced 800 more. So obviously I would go with Ja Morant in that matter. And you have the newcomer to the team, Aaron Gordon, at 6,300. That's a great price for him. His last 2 games, 40 DraftKings points. You can get 40 DraftKings points that's in the 6,000s. That's worth it. He said these have been the easiest shots he's gotten in his NBA career so far playing on this team, so he's loving it. It's just a matter of it's so much talent. If Michael Porter Jr. wasn't there, his production would be even better. And the reason I'm skipping over Michael Porter Jr. at 7,100 is because their production has been similar, and he's $800 cheaper. So I would go with Gordon in that matter. And the only other guy I'm looking at, you can consider Will Barton. You know, he's in there to get the scraps. His last 2 games, 19 and 15 actual NBA points. So he's getting you DraftKings points in the 20s and 30s at 5,500. That's safe if you want to go that route. But if you look for a higher ceiling, he's not going to get any more than probably 30, 35 DraftKings points. So he's an option. What about you?
Yeah, and I think for me it's sticking with that in the starting lineup too, with Jokic, Murray, Porter, Gordon, Barton. I'm not going to play them all, and I don't like all of them, but I think that's where I would stick. And yeah, I like Gordon at 63, a little bit more than Porter, like you mentioned. He's getting the shot attempts, he's getting very good looks, and Jokic is feeding the guy. And while I like Jokic, I do like two guys in that late matchup or the next matchup that are priced right around him that I'll probably have more shares of, being frank. But at 10-5, I also don't hate Jokic. The guy, like you mentioned, an MVP candidate. He's playing awesome. This is a great matchup for him. Mason Plumlee can't guard him really and with whatever Jokic, how his style of play is just so weird and unorthodox, and it's just he's awesome at it. But I probably won't have too much. I don't mind Barton at 5-5. I think Murray's in a good matchup too, and like you mentioned, Porter's in a good matchup. But I think they're feeding Aaron Gordon, and they're getting him into correct spots. And the dude played 39 and 35 minutes the last two games, so he's ready to play minutes in the mid to high 30s, and that's just going to bring back value there. So that's my favorite guy on their team for point per dollar type of stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. He was so banged up with Orlando, and then he comes to the Nuggets in 39, 35 minutes. He's there.
And he's much when he's playing around talent, he's much better. They're putting him in, especially Jokic. He's putting him in prime position to take advantage of matchups and the spots on the floor.
Yeah.
But let's jump on to this second to last game of the night, the first one at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have the Milwaukee Bucks at the Golden State Warriors. We do not have a spread as of yet, but we do have an injury report. Eric Pascal out, Klay Thompson out, PJ Tucker out, Giannis probable. And I will throw it over to you. And this is the game that I was alluding to, that the two superstars that I like a lot in this one. But I'll throw it over to you. How are you feeling about this Bucks squad?
Well, the Bucks squad, obviously, they have your main three guys. I'm looking at two of them. Giannis at 10,700. I think you actually can skip him tonight, in my opinion, because, he's probable with his knee, so he should be out there. But the last game that we have on DraftKings, April 2nd, he has 72 DraftKings points. That's what you want when you're paying 10,700. But the 4 games before that is not what you want. 33, 35, 46, 47. Not good enough. And with the probability on his knee means there's still something there. I don't know if he's 100% or not. And with them playing the Warriors, this obviously could be a blowout because the Warriors are struggling this year. Steph is defeated because they're losing so much. I think I would pass on Giannis because he is the highest priced player of the night. You obviously, any game he's playing, he can hit value, but I think he's priced very high. Drew Holliday at 8,000. He's the guy that's been really lighting it up lately. He won Player of the Week for the Eastern Conference. So his last game, April 3rd, he had 64 DraftKings points. So that's damn near Giannis numbers at almost 3,000 less than Giannis. Obviously, we don't expect him to be Giannis, but he's just been on a roll lately. And so the other person that I'm looking at other than that is Brook Lopez. He's at 5,200. He's not been lighting anything up necessarily, but he just is going to be out there, and he has the potential to. His game on the 3rd, he's had 38 DraftKings points. That's what you want when you're playing Brook Lopez at 5,200. He's not going to hit that every night, though. So you just have to trust the matchup. And, it's hit or miss most nights with Brook Lopez, but you just know he's going to get the minutes. So do you trust Chris Middleton or anyone else on this team?
I do trust Middleton. I probably won't play him, though, too much. I like Holliday a little bit more at his price tag. And he's at that 8K mark. I said last time I was on here, anytime he's under 7 or 8K, I think it's too cheap. He's right at that 8K mark. I still think it's a good matchup for him. And I will play Giannis. Out of the people over 10K, Embiid, Jokic, Giannis, I like Giannis the most. I will pay that a little bit extra for that, just the matchup. The Warriors have James Wiseman, Kevon Looney, Draymond Green. Nobody too big or will stay on the floor too long. That scares me off of Giannis. So out of those 10K guys, I like Giannis more than the others. And Holiday's, and he's just been playing awesome lately. He's finally over that COVID protocols. I think he had COVID, but he's over it now. He's looking really good. Price tag still rock solid. And the last guy I would look at here is Bobby Portis. For similar reasons of Giannis. I know he is not Giannis, but the front court here is we can take advantage of. And James Wiseman still makes a lot of mistakes. Looney's not. He doesn't play too much to scare me, but this is a matchup that Bobby Portis can take advantage of, assuming he's ready to play some minutes. I know he played 17 and then 20 on a back-to-back after missing a week. If he's ready to get into the 24, 25-minute role and he's not limited, I think he's going to bring back value for you again here. But what about on this Warriors side? It looks
So you rather go with Bobby Portis or Brook Lopez? Because they're only $100 apart. Just want your opinion on that.
I like Portis a little bit more here.
Okay.
But yeah, on the Warriors,
that sounds like a bet. That sounds like a bet.
All right. I like Portis a little bit more. Brook Lopez is just his upside doesn't do it for me. Yeah, he played 31 minutes in the last one. If Bobby Portis is ready to play in the 25-minute role, directly going to take minutes away from Lopez, and he's a better point per minute guy. So even if Lopez plays 6 more minutes than him, I still think Portis is a better fantasy option here.
Okay, write it down, guys. That's a bet right there. So.
All right, man. Yeah, but how you feeling about the Warriors side?
Obviously, you have Steph Curry at 9,700. Anytime he's under 10,000, he's the guy you can throw in your lineup. He is the team. Wiggins his production has dropped off a little bit the last 2 games, so you can trust Steph even more because of that. And the only other guy I'm looking at is Draymond right now at 6,700. His production has been very well used, very well. 11 points, almost a triple-double his last 3 games, pretty much. So in a matchup, whenever they're playing a top-tier guy like LeBron or Giannis, he's going to show up. This game will probably be on TV, I'm sure. So I expect Draymond to hit value at 6,700. There's no one else that I could fully trust on the Warriors. How about you?
Yeah, and I'm with you with those 2 guys. I like Curry. He might be my favorite player of the night at his price tag. Draymond, really good price tag, 67. You could play him with that power forward center eligibility is very key. And I like Wiseman, but I'm not going to play him. I want to start playing him more, but until Kerr does play him more, I can't go to him. But I'm really getting close to just throwing him in there a few times. He's getting close for me, but I'm with you. I'm sticking with those 2, Curry and Draymond here.
He's not getting close at all yet.
It's getting close. It's getting close. But how about we'll jump on over to the last game of the night. It is the Portland Trailblazers at the Los Angeles Clippers. We do have a spread for this. It is the Clippers are 6-point home favorites, and the over-under is 226. The Clippers do not have anybody on their injury report as of right now, and the Blazers have Zach Collins and Jusuf Nurkic out, and Derek Jones Jr. as probable. The Clippers will have to see exactly what happens on the injury report. I know that Serge Ibaka is not ready, so I'm not sure why he's not listed there. And Patrick Beverley is questionable. They have that, but on the official injury report, they don't have anything. But we'll go with the Blazers first because they are the away team. And how are you feeling on this side of the ball, knowing that Nurk is out again for this one? Looks like it was right knee inflammation, which doesn't sound great.
Not good, yeah. Whenever Nurk is out, obviously that's a big boost for Enes Kanter, and he's still at a low price of 6,000. And his last game, he had 43 DraftKings points with 12 points, 17 boards. So with Nurkic out of the way, he can easily match that or get even more. He's a rebound machine in Portland. Dame, obviously at 9,400, can easily get you 50 DraftKings points any given night. It's just interesting seeing Steph and Dame under 10,000. So whenever that's the case, you can look at them and feel confident in putting them in your lineup. CJ McCollum at 8,000. His last 2 games were not that great, but his other games before that are great, and very usable at 8,000. It's just a matter of whether you like this matchup enough to put him in there. And if PG is going to be guarding him, that is going to be a tough match. PG or Kawhi, so you can easily avoid CJ in this one, but he still can go off at any moment. So it's just a matter of opinion on that one. Norman Powell, the new acquisition at 5,900, that's a good price. But like I said, again, it's a tough matchup. And then you have Robert Covington. He's been slacking lately. So I don't think I'm looking too much further than that. I feel confident in Dame and Cantor. But everyone else is kind of to me for Portland.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you can go Cantor, 6K. Zubats. They're without Ibaka, it's just easy to attack the front court there. And then he's only 6K, and now there's no Nurkic. He's going to play as many minutes as he can handle. He played 30 in the last one. I know it was a massive blowout, but we should expect another 30, assuming not in foul trouble, and both teams just don't say, hey, I want to go small. And me saying that means I think Robert Covington's going to get a lot of extra backup center minutes, and at 58, we'll take a flyer on him. Not too confident, though, in that. And yeah, you mentioned Lillard. He's an option. I like Curry slightly more, but I don't mind. If them being under 10K, you can probably get both of them in your lineups with a lot of value that we have on this slate. And that's pretty much all I'm looking at for the Blazers side as well. What about the Clippers, man? How do you like over here?
Well, obviously you have the two studs, Kawhi and PG. Kawhi is at 9,200. Paul George is at 8,100. Both clearly usable. PG's last two games, not that great, but other than that, he's been having an underrated year, well-rounded year. But for me, the guys you may not be sure about are Terence Mann at 4,900. He's been getting a lot of minutes lately, and I've been loving the way he's been playing, and I think he can be a key piece for this team. He's still trying to get consistent, but he's been playing hitting value most nights and above, so his last game wasn't that great, but other than that, his 6 games before that, he's been playing amazing for, the young talent that he is. And also Marcus Morris. Let me make sure it's the right Marcus. Yeah, Marcus, not Markeith. He is at 5,000. And 2 of the last 3 games, he scored over 20 NBA actual points. So that's great. And like you said, with Ibaka still out, he is in line. You're going to be used a lot because he's going to have to stop Covington or try to, stop the guys on the Blazers. He can't compete with Cantor on the boards, but he's going to be needed out there to stop Cantor, Robert Covington, all the guys the Blazers have to fill in there, Norman Powell. So I've been impressed with him because I thought early in the season he was kind of written off, but he's making his way back into the rotation and playing pretty well lately. At 5,000, he's a usable piece. Would you consider Zubac? I'm kind of conflicted on that 5,400 because he will get the minutes, but he hasn't been playing amazing lately.
Yeah, and I like him. 5,400, he'll be in my player pool. I do think we have quite a few options. I'll probably, if I have $600 more, I'd rather just have Cantor. But at 5,400, going against Cantor, I know he can get points there, so he will be in my player pool. Same with Marcus Morris, and a little bit of Terrence Mann. I'm waiting to see if Beverly plays. That takes minutes from everybody, but those are probably the 2 guys that I like the most too. Is Zubats and Marcus Morris. Kawhi, I like him there, but I'd rather just go to the 2 guys, the 2 point guards, and Dame and Curry. I like them a little bit more, couple $100 more, but I'll go there. And George, he's still dealing with that toe, so that scares me. So I'm not going to pay 8.1 for him. But again, Zubats, Marcus Morris, I think those are pretty solid plays here.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Before we head on out,
wait. One little point. What do you think about Rondo? He made his first appearance the other night for his new team of the Clippers. Do you think he could be worth using, especially since Patrick Beverly is questionable?
I do think eventually, yeah, but even though he's only 3,200 right here, I don't know if they're going to throw him into the fire for more. He played 13 minutes in that first game. It was a massive blow. They won by 18 points, but I don't see him getting up to 21 to 22 here. Maybe because it is a playoff type matchup, so maybe, but I don't want to fully risk that there. Knowing that we have quite a few options in that value tier range, probably not going to throw it here. And then it's 10 p.m., so if Beverly does get the call, it'll likely be after a lot of people have went. Sure. For this one, I'll probably keep Rondo out of the player pool, wait to see him get into that 20-minute role, and then I like him there at 3,200.
Yeah, because I think he will be the starting point guard for this team eventually, but we'll have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, let's get into our tiers real quick before we head on out of here. Give me your favorite player over 8K, your favorite high-priced guy.
So does that include 8K?
Yeah, 8 and up.
Well, I mean, I might be cheating, but I like Drew Holiday at 8,000. Like we said, Eastern Conference Player of the Week, playing incredible. I think you have to use him in your lineup. And another guy is Butler at 8,700. I still think anytime he's that low, he's worth using.
Right, and on the opposite side of the ball there, I like Steph at 9,700. Without going up into that Super Saiyan tier, we got a little bit of a discount, and you can beat the Bucks from the three-point line, and Steph is the engine of the Warriors. But let's go on over to the mid-tier range, and who you liking over here?
Yeah, I think I would have to go with Robert Williams, even though you hate him. No, at 6,800, I think he's going to get the minutes. He's going to be out there. Hopefully Embiid doesn't crush his dreams. And obviously OG Anunoby, I'll let you have the other guy. So I'll say OG Anunoby at 7,000. If Van Fleet is out, and obviously Lowry is out, I think he's in line to have a great night.
All right, man. I'll go high end with Lonzo at 7.5. If Ingram or Zion, if one of those two miss, he's going to be the number one or number two option again. And this is just a fantastic matchup against Atlanta and Trae Young. So that's the high end. On the low end, around the 5-ish K mark, I like Sato. I know that Kobe White should be back, but still a good matchup for him. 5.1, I think that he's going to get a ton of run, and he should, at the very least, bring back value. So I like that consistency there.
I thought you were going to say Cantor, so, I'll throw him in there too.
All right, man. And how about for your value play? Who's your favorite value play? And I personally think there is a ton of value on this slate.
If Steven Adams is out, I like Hernan Gomez at 4,200. That's the only guy I wrote down. Who are you talking about that's a value guy tonight?
And I think Malachi Flynn is a big value here at 3,900. Yeah. There's quite a few people on Detroit that we can look at depending on how the things play up. I like both. I like Grayson Allen at 4,400, Lauri Markkanen at 45. There's more, but I'll stay. My favorite one of the night is Flynn again at under 4K. I just think that's awesome value there. If Van Vliet doesn't play, it becomes fantastic. If he does play, I still think he scores 25 to 30 DK points at the min. That's where I'd put him at.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, man. And thank you guys for joining us and for another edition of DFS Today. If you want to follow us on Twitter, give us a follow. My Twitter account is at Santino Cacone, and Will's is at William is Bill. Fairly simple to remember. Also, we are still recruiting. If anybody has any interest in either the the season-long, I was going to say fantasy season, the season-long fantasy or DFS fantasy. If you're interested in either, give myself, Mike, or Dan a message on Twitter or wherever you can reach us, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And thank you guys for listening. Will, is there anything you want to say before we head on out of here?
No, we're recording this right now as the national championship is being played, so we don't know who won yet, but that's going to be interesting to see. And we'll see. Who you got? Who you think is going to win?
I want Zaga to finish it off, but they're currently losing, so they need me to root for them. I think that's what's happening.
in my bracket, I picked Baylor to win. I got like everything else wrong, but
I think everybody did.
Right? So that's it.
Funny. All right, man. And we will catch you again next week. But tomorrow, I believe Keith and Mike will be on for you guys. And as always, thank you for listening. And good luck.
Peace.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.